Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel for another Sofi stock update, and we have seen a lot of insider momentum. You've seen a lot of buys coming through from Anthony Noto as well as the board of directors, which is a very, very bullish sign for the next coming years, and that's bullish for the long-term outlook. But we do have the Fed that comes to the stock market town, if you guys want to call it that, over the next 2 days. You have Fed Jerome Powell that speaks tomorrow, and then the FOMC minutes on Wednesday, and I want to go over my thoughts on what that could mean for the markets, because I think in a weird way, the more hawkish the Fed sounds, the faster they are to get inflation down will be bullish for the markets. Think back to the last Fed meeting. Why did the markets ultimately go up 3% the day of the Fed meeting in the last hour and a half of trading? Well, it was because the Fed took 75 basis points off the table. And then the next day, the NASDAQ dropped 6% intraday, closed down, I believe, about 5.5%. Well, why is that? Because the markets were upset the Fed took 50 or 75 basis points off the table because they wanted to get inflation down as fast as possible, no matter if that means rug pulling the market. So we will dive into this concept here in this video. We're going to go over what happened today, what I plan to do with my Sofi stock position, all of that good stuff. The only thing I ask you guys to do, if you find value out of this video, is hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. If you guys would like to support the channel, support the journey here on this channel, link down below in the pinned comment for the Patreon as well. Obviously, you don't have to do that, but if you guys want to support, I've had a lot of questions about that. That is your way to do that, or just by watching these videos also supports the channel. So thank you guys for tuning in, no matter where you guys are. It's very exciting. We're in a very exciting market, actually the worst market we have seen since 1939, so hallelujah to that one. Now, let's get into this information. So Sofi stock is down about 2.54% at the time of recording this video. We're sitting at a very key level right here at this line that I have had drawn, the intraday lows of the past 2 days as well as today. We've come down under this level all 3 days. It was a previous resistance level at about $7.21 per share, and now we're above that, and it looks like we're probably going to close above that. Now we're right in between support level and the resistance level at the 50-day moving average, and it's very obvious this is a resistance level. Even going back to the highs that we've seen of $25 per share, we've found a lot of resistance at this level time and time and time again. That is the orange line, and if we can break out above that, if we do get the markets that have a bullish reaction off of the Fed tomorrow or off of the FOMC minutes, that's going to be very, very bullish. And if we can break out above that, it looks like the next key level of resistance would be about $10 per share. RSI sitting pretty neutral even after this rally from the bottom at about $4.82 all the way up to $7.29 per share. The RSI is still only at 52.90, so it's pretty neutral. Neutral level is 50. Overbought is 70. Oversold, like dramatically oversold, is 30. So you're pretty neutral right here and right now. The MACD is extremely bullish though, which is very interesting that the RSI is neutral and the MACD is very bullish. So I do think that is a bullish sign, and I think a lot of it comes down to good earnings as well as the insider buys that have been coming through, and we'll look at that in 1 second because man, it is so bullish. If there is one bullish sign for a company out of anything else that I like to see, is insider buying, because there's a lot of reasons people sell stock, but there is only literally one reason why people actually buy stock and get 6 free stocks when you open and fund an account. I guess they wanted me to put that in this video. Link down below in the pinned comment. If you guys have not signed up with Webull, get 6 free stocks when you open and fund your account. I also get a couple free shares. Do appreciate all of you guys. Webull is what we are looking at Sofi stock on, so they have great charting, great tools, all of that good stuff. So definitely check that out if you guys have not already. That was obvious. That was not planned actually, so might be a sign for you guys to go ahead and get yourself those free stocks. But nonetheless, what do we have for the Fed coming tomorrow and Wednesday? Well, tomorrow, as far as economic data in general, we have new home sales as well as S&P Global Composite PMI for May. Those could be pretty important for obviously real estate, all of that. But the main key is going to be Fed Chair Powell's speech at about noon. And depending on what Powell says, that's going to be very important. And I think it's clear to Powell after the last Fed meeting, the markets want Powell to be ultra aggressive. And why that is because if it takes years to get inflation down, then you can't value companies as high, right? Because inflation basically kills the earnings a company would have in the future. For an example, if SoFi said, hey, by 2025, we're going to do 20 billion in revenue per year. Well, if inflation is 5%, for the next 5 or 10 years, that, 20 billion, it's going to be worth potentially half that amount, right, in actual nominal buying power. So you don't value companies as high, but let's say inflation gets down in the next 6 months because the Fed did rug pull us by giving us like a 1% rate hike or even a 2% rate hike for that matter, then you would kill inflation pretty fast and you could start to buy these long duration assets, aka long duration, meaning stocks that are not profitable today, that are growing, that will be much bigger companies into the future. You can start to buy those companies again. And a lot of the stocks we invest in, perfect example is SoFi, you could start to value those companies a lot higher and give them a lot higher of a multiple. So I think in a weird way, if the Fed is more aggressive, that could actually be a bullish thing for the markets. But if Fed Jerome Powell is bearish and sounds really hawkish tomorrow, I think you could expect it to be something along the same lines of what happened at the last Fed meeting, but in opposite reaction. If Fed Powell is bearish tomorrow, if he's hawkish, then I think the markets would probably sell off pretty dramatically after that. But then I think the following subsequent, couple of days, couple of weeks would actually be very bullish because they would say, hey, the Fed will do whatever they need to do to stomp out inflation here in the next couple of months. That is bullish. Let's buy stocks, and let's buy stocks now. I think that would be the overall consensus if the Fed is ultra hawkish at this current moment. The last thing the markets want is high inflation and slowing growth, which is stagflation. We have not seen that in a while, and that is a word that you guys are probably starting to hear a little bit more. Stagflation is not good, and it will never be good. Now, on Wednesday, we do have the FOMC minutes. That's going to be very important as well. That is the transcript from the last Fed meeting, and that's going to give us more clarity as to what to expect and what the Fed is going to do. If you guys have not seen the other data points for the rest of this week, go ahead and watch the last video. We will talk about them in later on videos, likely tomorrow, likely, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because we have a lot more data coming out, but I simply don't think it's as relevant to go over that right now here in this video, considering what we have tomorrow, and that is going to be the Fed. Now, when you look at all of these insider buys and we really zoom in right here, you could see a lot of buys that have been taking place, and I didn't actually zoom all the way in. That is unfortunate because there's a lot more buys coming out. Anthony Noto purchased 27,000 shares, 13.5 thousand shares, 15,000 shares right here, 39,000 shares right there. A couple of sells, but by and large, a lot of people are buying a lot of stock, buying the dip in a very dramatic way. And there's like 3 more buys over here. I don't know why it didn't zoom all the way in. But nonetheless, that is huge. 22 buy transactions over the past 12 months. Over the past 3 months, you're looking at 15 buy transactions for $2.53 million, 1 sell transaction for $40,000. And there is hundreds of reasons why people sell stock, but there's one reason why people buy stock, and that is because they think the stock is going to go higher. So that's the one key thing I do want to highlight, and I might highlight that a couple times, that is a very good sign. They are the ones seeing the numbers coming in. They are the ones that set guidance and set expectations. And if they are buying the stock, then they're probably exceeding their own estimates and their own guidance. Now, the short interest of free float for SoFi stock is sitting at 19.77%. Current shares that are sold short of 143.86 million. Cost to borrow max is sitting at about 20%. So it is not cheap to short SoFi stock right now. The utilization is 100% and the days to cover is sitting at 3.8. Shares out on loan is sitting at 219.35 million. Sorry, free float out on loan is 30.14%. So what does that mean? Shares out on loan, if all of those 219.35 million shares that are currently out on loan waiting to be sold short, if they were in fact sold short, the free float out on loan would essentially turn into the short interest, which would be about 30%. So there is a lot of potential shares that could be at this point sold short, but potentially returned back, and that could cause the share price to go up, and that could push us past that $10 mark, especially if we do see a bullish reaction throughout the rest of the week in the markets. Now, the 13F filings, we've went over this a couple times, but I do want to point out it is very, very bullish for SoFi stock, and that is also something that should be very encouraging to you guys in the longer term sense, the longer duration of SoFi stock. Lots of buys that are coming through. You guys can see massive amounts and basically a swath of green on these 13F filings. Not something that you are really seeing on a lot of stocks that are specifically, you know, fintech and in a realm that is really affected by the Fed as well as the economic activity, as well as just SoFi as their largest business segment that is shut down. But I do want to say, I think SoFi is really going to boom in 2023, and now is likely the best time to buy the stock. If you do look up student loan refinance, SoFi is going to be a top contender, if not the top contender, that does take a majority of the student loan refinancing when people realize, hey, you know, a lot of these, you know, adjustable rate essentially student loans are going to have to be paid back here in 2023. Once their payments actually start again, they're going to all rush to refinance with some of that extra cash that they do have available. So I think that is very exciting as well. But overall, the Fed tomorrow, that is going to be the main key about it all. I kind of do expect a bearish tilt to it, but then I do expect the overall, you know, reaction to be pretty damn positive when all things are said and done. Watch to see if we can break above that key level of resistance, the 50-day moving average at $7.69 per share. It's looking really good right now. We went up, we based out, looking for that break. If we do break, $10 per share is in the cards. If the Fed is ultra bearish tomorrow and you see just the markets completely crumble, I don't know, it's possible. I think it's improbable given what we've seen, but if it does happen and we don't see a bounce here, then I would target the $5 level again. That would be about a $2.29 drop, and that is possible, but I think it's very improbable right now. I do think we have somewhat hit the floor for now. If the data does come in worse, if the economic outlook does start to look worse, obviously that could change around a lot. But you are seeing a lot of long duration call activity that is being placed, as well as a lot of short-term put activity that is being placed. Look at all of these June 17th puts that are coming through, but then look, a January 19th, 2024 $15 call coming through for $63,000, and look at that July 15th $750 call coming through for about $62,000 as well. And if we look at the interesting flow sentiment, 0% positive order value, one order totaling $917.74 thousand over the past week, 55 orders totaling about $11 million, positive order value of 30%. So I do think overall it's going to be bullish. We got the Fed tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts on that down below in the comment section. Get your free stock with Weibo, Moomoo, and Public down below in the description of this video. And like I said, if you guys want to support the channel, link for Patreon down there in the pinned comment as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.